are we going to discuss today? Wisdom. What are the 4 houses of Jaipuriya school? Let's say that together. Let's say it in unison. Wisdom. Harmony, perfection. Yes. Are you all happy about these names? Yes. Because then we get connected to those 4 personalities which are the personalities of Shakti herself. We want to be connected to those personalities now. Right? So we must know what is wisdom. We must know what is harmony. We must know what is strength. And we must know what is perfection. And that is why we are doing this discussion. So let us first offer to the divine. Let us offer to him this session. So, the anthem of the camp. What is the anthem of the camp? Let's read it together. Arise, transcend thyself. Thou art man, and the whole nature of man is to become more than himself. Should we read it again? Arise, transcend thyself. Thou art man, and the whole nature of man is to become more than himself. Generally, I've seen that if we take a mantra for ourselves and make that mantra my mantra for some time, and as a mantra we go on reciting it to ourselves, that we have to take anything, any sentence that seems like a good mantra for me, which you feel that will take me to the next level. We just use that. Now I feel when I read this statement, I felt this could be a very nice mantra at our age, at your age. Right? What is this mantra saying? Arise, transcend thyself, thou art man, and the whole nature of man is to become more than himself. Yes? And the other mantra, if you only do what you can do, you will never be better than you are. Kung Fu Panda, Master Shifu. Yes. Right? Kung Fu Panda, Master Shifu is saying that if you can do only what you can do, then you will never be better than you are. Do we want to remain as we are, or we want to become better than we are? We want to evolve, na? So now today we will start with wisdom. Now what is wisdom? Right? Wisdom as explained by Sri Aurobindo, Sri Aurobindo says reason divides, fixes details and contrasts them. You know, in our mind we have reason, which is reasoning all the time. ये होगा तो ये ऐसे होगा, वो होगा तो वो वैसे होएगा, और वो रीजन चलता रहता है. So रीजन की आदत है डिवाइड करना, डिटेलिंग करना, कॉन्ट्रास्ट करना. But wisdom, what does wisdom do? Wisdom unites, marries contrasts in a single harmony. Right? That is the difference between wisdom and reason. श्री अरविंदो ने एक और बहुत सुंदर चीज बोली wisdom के बारे में. Late I learned that when reason died, then wisdom was born. Before that liberation, I had only knowledge. So now let us just go through this whole thing. सबसे पहले there is something called information. We collect information. अखबार में जो आता है वो क्या है? Wisdom है क्या? Knowledge है क्या? Reason भी है क्या? Only information. Knowledge कहाँ से है? आज उसके साथ ये हुआ, गंदी बातें बोलेंगे भी नहीं. आज उसने ये किया, वो क्या है? Information. What does it have any life? कल सवेरे वो क्या है? डस्टबिन वाला पेपर. राइट? तो जब हम न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते हैं तो इंफॉर्मेशन में जो बातें नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट, हेडलाइन देख के उसमें डिटेल में नेगेटिव में जाना ही नहीं चाहिए. इफ इट मेक्स नो डिफरेंस, इफ इट मेक्स अ डिफरेंस टू योर लाइफ, रीड अबाउट इट. right? This is information. When does information become knowledge? Then we start using it. And when that knowledge, when that information is actually connecting us to something more than we are, right? Something greater than we are, and it is connecting me to that something greater, then we can say it is knowledge. Like the science of science, science of psychology, science of physics. So, if it connects me to something higher, when does it become wisdom? It becomes wisdom when we are actually applying it in our daily lives, right? So, we have to understand the difference between information, knowledge and wisdom. Reason comes in the plane of information and knowledge. It doesn't go beyond. Because reason always has to divide. बिना divide करे कैसे समझ आएगा? तो उसको समझने के लिए हमको उसको divide करना पड़ता है. But wisdom unifies all that, right? You know, when we talk of truth is not खाली सच बोलना. Truth उसको कहते हैं when we are in the path of knowledge. तब सत किसको कहते हैं? सत उसको कहते हैं truth is that which will always remain. इसलिए आदि शंकरा ने बोला ये असत है, पर अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसको उन्होंने बोल दिया माया है, फिर उन्होंने बोल दिया ये है ही नहीं. बट दैट विच इज परमानेंट, फॉर इंस्टेंस आपके अंदर क्या है जो परमानेंट है? एग्जैक्टली, वेरी गुड. I think we all need to just thank God and thank you guys for the brilliance that you have within yourself. So the soul within us is the truth. The rest is asat, but it is there, right? And it has to be perfected. Why does it have to be perfected? Sri Aurobindo has said, all life is yoga, but all life has to be transformed. This is another mantra for us. All life is yoga, but all life has to be transformed. So जो हमारे अंदर असत है, जो impermanent है, पर वो है ना, ये physical body है ना, it may not be part of sat, it may not be part of truth, but it may not be part of the truth, but it is, and it has to be transformed. Similarly, emotional being है ना, it has to be transformed. ये mental being है ना, but it has to be transformed. And how can it be transformed? It can be transformed with the help of that which is truth inside us. When we connect with that inside us, which is truth, which is permanent, which is the soul, and with the help of that, when we make that a Purohit, and with that we bring the light forward into the physical body, which is impermanent, but it is. And we bring that truth forward into our vital emotional body. And when we bring that truth, that light into our mental body, and then we transform it, then we are leading the path of truth. You have something to say? Yes.
Ma'am, as it was said that soul is permanent, but ma'am, someday our body has to leave the soul, and then that soul goes to another body. So how can a soul be permanent if we have to leave a body some or the other day?
So this, yes, you want to answer that? Yes, okay, please take the mic. Wow.
As you said that the body leaves the body does not leave the soul leaves the body, and soul will remain permanent. No matter if it will take another body, the soul is there. The soul is not changing. Only the body is changing.
Wow, we have to clap. What is your name? On the mic.
Aditya.
Aditya, beautiful answer. How beautifully he has explained it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very nice. So we have to change the impermanent body, but we have to change it. Why should we change it? Because wherever we end this life, whatever level the body has reached, whatever level the mind, the vital emotional being has reached, whatever level the mind has reached, in our next life, we will start from that level. है ना? How beautiful is it? Whatever transformation I have done in this life is not going to waste after we die. the body will go. So what's the point? We will reach that point only. In our next life, we will be born with that point. At that point, yes?
Ma'am, like people say that, ma'am, does hell and heaven exist? If, then, ma'am, like when people die, they say that they either go to heaven or hell according to their deeds. And so, ma'am, if we take a new life, then who goes to the hell or heaven?
This is another important question. We can keep it noted, Mona ma'am. We can note down these important questions, and someday after dinner, if you all are in the mood, the questions which are not part of the program can be answered, because this is a very important question. According to the Indian philosophy, heaven and hell are not permanent statures. You can go to heaven, we can go to heaven, but after some time we have to come back. So it's just a temporary space where we go to. The other point in Indian philosophy is that heaven and hell are also being experienced right here. I have a beautiful story for that, but I don't want to go into it just now. Although heaven and hell is part of knowledge, the sixth. So I'll tell you that story. I hope we have the time. So we come back to truth. Truth is truth in thought, feeling, speech and action. Though we've talked about truth, how have we talked about truth? It is that which is permanent. But we must remember that we have to also see truth in our body, in our physical body at this level. So truth, we have to see it also as truth in our thinking, in our feeling, in our speech and in our action. Right? This is quite easy to understand. Truth cannot be formulated in words, but it can be lived provided one is pure and plastic enough. Plastic means? Flexible. There is flexibility in our being. We are not rigid. ये कह दिया तो कह दिया. अरे कोई और ने कुछ कहा. We are plastic. We just mold ourselves. है ना? We have heard that now, that the trees which are stiff, when the wind comes, they break. But the trees which are plastic, they just mold themselves to the wind and then they stand again after the storm is over. Right? So should we go ahead to the next? We've understood what is truth. What is truth? That which is permanent. Yes? But we also have to see truth at the level of our being. Yes? Truth in speech, truth in thought, truth in feelings, and truth in action. Always remembering cognitive, affective, cognitive. Thought, emotion, action. Mind, vital, body. है ना? 3 levels में हमको transformation लाना है. Right? So now from truth we go to another important aspect of wisdom, which is equanimity. Very, very important aspect. Okay, this was also a very important slide in truth, which Anmol ji had brought forward in the beginning. Because sometimes there was a beautiful question by one of you. I think it was your question, that how do we tell whether this is a positive influence on me or a negative influence. And these are beautiful words of Sri Aurobindo. Very, very beautiful words. Acha, it's by the mother. I'm sorry I've written Sri Aurobindo. It's by the mother. I'll correct it before giving it to the school. All that brings with it or creates peace, faith, joy, harmony, wideness, unity, and ascending growth comes from the truth. While all that carries with it restlessness, doubt, skepticism, sorrow, discord, selfish narrowness, inertia, discouragement and despair comes straight from the falsehood. Another thing, one sadhak went to the mother and said, Mother, after you are gone, who will tell us whether I am on the right path or no? And the mother gave a very nice answer. She said, my child, the thermometer is within you. So the sadhak said, what do you mean? What thermometer do I have within myself? The mother said, every time you feel discouragement, despair, every time you feel, Arey, I've been so hurt by that person. Arey, that person is such a liar. Every time you feel negativity about someone else or negativity inside, make sure that your plug of sadhana has been unplugged. You are not plugged to the divine inside. जब अंदर का प्लग निकल जाता है ना, जब वहां से फ्लो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का बंद हो जाता है, वहां से लव का फ्लो बंद हो जाता है, क्योंकि स्विच भी ऑफ कर दिया, प्लग भी निकाल दिया. तो मदर बोली, then you will feel all these negative things. But if the plug is on and the switch is on as well, तो आपके अंदर पॉजिटिव के सिवा कुछ आएगा ही नहीं, है ना? What a nice way to tell that I am connected or I am not connected. The thermometer is within us. We don't need mummy to tell us. We don't need anybody to tell us if we are truthful to ourselves. Clear now?
This particular quotation I feel should be written down, and it can be even carried with you all the time. It's like as a guidance, I have found rarely anything which is better than this, which we need all the time.
No, we are not going to write it just now. We have to move forward. Yeah? Yes? Mike. उधर हाथ ऊपर करो बेटा.
Ma'am, you said heaven is temporary. So then what is moksha?
So, Mona ma'am, another difficult question. So please write it down. We'll talk about moksha also if we get the time, huh? Because it's a long topic and we'll move away from wisdom. We don't want to do that. We must remain focused. All these difficult questions, ये छोटे-छोटे बच्चे, छोटे-छोटे खाली size में है. अंदर से power packed है एकदम. Soul से totally connected हो, बोलते हैं, if I can't see God, how can I recognize, how can I believe in Him? ठीक है बच्चों, मैं भी पहचानती हूँ तुमको. और मैं आपसे नहीं बात कर रही हूँ, आपकी आत्मा से बात कर रही हूँ. हाँ सार्थक.
Ma'am, you said that every time, ma'am, someone does, ma'am, like achieves a level, ma'am, and then soul when goes to a new body, it starts from that level only.
Yes.
So, ma'am, Sri Aurobindo and ma'am, the mother, ma'am, they were like, ma'am, they have achieved a very high level. So, when they will be rebirthed, their souls will be rebirthed, ma'am, will they start from that level? And ma'am, also that if they will start from that level, how can, ma'am, then it is that, ma'am, then the Sri Aurobindo and mother were like Paramatma and Mata. So ma'am, if they are Paramatma and the reincarnation of Paramatma and Mata, so ma'am, is there something like, ma'am, beyond them, if they will start from that
I'll
level?
tell you. Sri Aurobindo left his body on 5th December. Everybody was asking the question, when will he come next? When will he come next? The answer that the mother gave was this. See, he had evolved to that extent that he could not take a human body any longer. Okay, he said, I will reappear, just memorize it. The explanation is very difficult to give. I will reappear in the first supramental body created in the supramental way. What that supramental body or new body is, it's a subject for, at least 1 hour. So, but that's what he said. He said this on 8th December, 3 days after he left. He made an inner communication to mother. When mother left, basically there was no human being who could, transmit like this what she was going through. But she even exceeded him highly. So that's all I can tell you right now. Maybe later, as time is there. Yeah.
So, what you need to know about what will the luminous body be, because Sri Aurobindo will appear when the first supramental body. Yes. What supramental body is what is the description of that is given in Life Divine in the last 2 chapters. With your kind of intellect,
yes.
Even when you are in class 7 or 8, you will be able to understand it. So you can go to Mona ma'am, pick up Life Divine, or go on the internet and read the last 2 chapters, and you will understand what that luminous being of light, love, power and bliss is going to be like.
There is also actually, before Sri Aurobindo left, in the year 1949, he wrote 2 essays called The Perfection of the Body and The Divine Body. So the divine body covers all this, that what the new body is going to be like. The essay is titled The Divine Body.
Acha, now we can go ahead. So, so for truth I had taken out the beautiful story of Aruni and Shvetaketu. Abhi aage nahi badhenge to kuch bhi nahi hoga. Bolo, questions should never be left unanswered.
That according to Indian philosophy, we all our soul has 7 lives. So, ma'am, if we have 7 lives, and you said heaven is temporary.
No, this is not according to Indian philosophy. 7 lives.
Let
No,
us
no, no.
finish, we'll answer. 1 minute.
We all say that human beings, our soul has only 7 lives.
No.
No.
They say that for cats. Even
Bahunam
that may not
janmanam
be true. Bahunam, listen to
Gita
this.
says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate.
There you
Vasudeva
are.
Sarvamiti.
Bahunam, there's no...
Bahunam means many. 7 is not, it may be coming from the,
Some
the
other
Semitic
some
world
other
or somewhere.
tradition.
It's not Indian thought.
Okay.
Bahunam means many, not just 7.
Oh, should we go ahead? Huh? Yes, soul will never die.
Soul by definition cannot die.
Yes, beautiful, sir.
Mom, but I read it somewhere. It was something related to this Indian scriptures. It said that humans, like the soul, takes birth on earth in some yonis, like 84 lakh.
So after all the 84 lakh yonis, you have come to human life. And from human life, you will evolve further. You remember that you were inconscient? Krato smara smara krato. You remember now that you were inconscient when there was not even matter? And then from there you evolved into matter, rock, inanimate matter which had no animation. Then you evolved into plant. How many yonis went in between? From plant you went into insect. How many forms of insects? Then you went into small animals, water animals, outside the water, land animals, then amphibians who were even in water, even on land. Then you went on and on and on. कितनी योनियां तो पास कर चुके हैं, तब इंसान का जन्म मिला है. ठीक है ना? आगे बढ़े. ट्रूथ के लिए मैंने निकाला था, बट अब टाइम बहुत कम है, तो शायद ये कहानी आपको खुद पढ़नी पड़ेगी. Yes? I had taken out a beautiful story for you all, Aruni and Shvetaketus, and I had taken out lots of examples, but we don't have the time now to read all of them. Just one, that I told you the story of Aruni and Shvetaketu. When Shvetaketu came back, he came back with ego. And Aruni, the father, could see from the window when he was walking in, ki, arey, he's come back with so much ego. You can see it in the way he's walking, in the way he's talking. So he asked him, do you know that knowing which all is known? And Shvetaketu said, no, I don't know. You know? Then Shvetaketu fell at the feet of his father. He said, you are my guru now. My guru gave me what he had. Now you tell me. And then Uddalak Aruni did 2, 3, 4, 5 things with him, but I will just tell you one. Yeah, because we've done oneness today. Yastu Sarvani Bhutani. Isliye we will do this. Example, Uddalak Aruni said, get some salt, put some water into that glass, mix it up. Now drink a little water. How is it? He said, it's salty. Now you drink water from the middle of the glass. How is it? He said, it's salty. Now drink it from the bottom of the glass. How is it? He said, it's salty. He said, my dear son, similarly, the whole world is one. See the oneness? The salt water from the top, the salt water from the middle, the salt water at the back. To download those stories and read those stories. I had given you on the board yesterday the application, the app on phone called Upanishads.
The Upanishads by Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram Library Trust. Okay?
I think they will search Sri Aurobindo Society, they will also find probably.
Yes. So, okay, now we go ahead to the next, wideness. So, now read this. What is wideness? Because we have done today, what have we done today? Oneness. Wideness and oneness is the same thing, right? When we become wider and wider and wider and wider and wider and wider and wider, what happens? We are able to experience our oneness with the whole universe. We are able to experience that there is only one mind in the whole universe. Now, if there is one mind in the whole universe, tell me, when I think a negative thought, what am I doing to that universe, that mental, the universal mind? Affecting it negatively. Like that example that I gave, in a bowl of water, one drop of ink, right? And when we think some positive thoughts, what are we doing to that universal mind? We are enhancing the universal mind. Every time a human being thinks of now from the emotional level. In the emotional level, every time I have a feeling of love for somebody, a feeling of compassion for somebody. What are we doing to the universal vital? What are we doing? What happened to the children? Yes, we are enhancing the universal vital. How happy God must be feeling when we think one good emotion. Just in the afternoon, one child came and he was feeling so bad about a child who has lost some parents, and he is feeling bad about that child. And he says, what can I do for that child? Yes? So that feeling of compassion is so beautiful that that child is having, right? So every time we think something really nice, every time we feel something really nice for someone, every time we do a good act, what do? We enhance the universal. Either we enhance the universal physical, or we enhance the universal vital, or we enhance the universal mental. But every time we do the negative, we deplete it, we add it, we stain it, we tarnish it. So we have to be so careful about what we are thinking, what we are feeling, what we are speaking, and what we are doing. Yeah? Let us read what is written here. Where there is wideness, Bhuma, there is Sukham. I am going to give you a beautiful example in Sanskrit just now. Where there is narrowness, Alpa, there is no happiness. Now, the two words, Sukha, Dukha. 1 minute. This is a very, very important thing that we are talking about. What is Sukha? Dukha. What is common between the two? What does Su mean? And what does Du mean? Something bad. So what is that something here? So when there is good Kha, there is the experience of, and when there is bad Kha, there is the experience of. What does Kha mean in Sanskrit? Because Sanskrit, every letter is a truth vibration. Truth vibration means that letter itself, that sound itself is vibrating with something. You know what Kha is? No. 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 Huh? Vibration? No. No. Who said vastness? Very good. Yes, sir. Bataiye, sir. Kha is vastness. So, usko jab khagol, kham. See, now kha se सारे words देखिए आप संस्कृत के. Kham, ma na?
Kham, adha ma.
हाँ,
That's
kham.
the word for akasha.
This is sky. Ether, sorry. Cut. Ether. Khaga.
Ether is one of the Panch Mahabhutas.
Khaga is a bird. Pakshi, okay, Pakshi. Cut. Khagol. What is Khagol? What is Khagol? What is Khagol? Bataiye Ratna Sen sir. The whole? I think it means either Prithvi or universe. Universe? Whatever, I'm not going to write it because we are not sure. But ब्रह्मांड, अनिल भैया ने बताया. चलो क्लैप फॉर अनिल भैया. ब्रह्मांड. अब मुझे बताइए ईथर, पक्षी और ब्रह्मांड में कॉमन क्या है? What is common in them? What is the nature that is common in them? Vastness is common in them. तो that means अगर हम वास्ट हैं, तो अगर हमारा वास्टनेस सु है, माने इफ आई हैव गुड वास्टनेस, तो हमको सुख एक्सपीरियंस होएगा. पर अगर हमारा ख दो है, छोटा है, खराब है, डिफेक्टिव ख है, तो फिर हमारे को क्या फील होएगा? दुख. तो अगर हमको सुख चाहिए तो क्या करना है? क्या करना है ना? डिवीजन नहीं होना चाहिए हमारे बीइंग में, राइट? पक्षी कहाँ कहाँ उड़ते हैं, उसका कोई वो है? जहां गर्मी आई उसको कोई ना कहीं से वो शक्ति बता देती है कि यहाँ गर्मी बहुत है, चलो वहां चली जाओ. Zoom, it goes there.
You gave that example where, ma'am, that we take ink and we like
Yes.
if we have it in a glass, we pour it into the ocean. Then when we take that water back
From the ocean?
water it's pure. So ma'am, like that you now so that you gave us an example like we should think about the purities and impurities and all. Just now you said that if we think bad and like we are all one. If we think bad, then we affect the world.
Yes.
But ma'am, they will make us pure. So, like whatever our thoughts, they will obviously like have a.
That is always having an effect on us.
Yes, ma'am.
But our individuality has centered itself now.
Yes, ma'am.
The soul is now individualized in centers. And that soul is waiting for it to be heard by this physical body, by this vital body, by this mental body. And these have to be purified. So the world, the universe, that oneness is doing its work on us. But this individual mental being has to be purified. इसके purification का काम तो हमको consciously करना पड़ेगा. Because mankind's destiny, your destiny awaits your...
Our choice.
Yes. Got it, huh? Yes, wideness. We'll only talk about wideness just now. Yes?
We will give the divine the impurity and he will give us purity. Ma'am, if we will give him too much of impurity, ma'am, then he will be also impure.
But the nature of everything is different, no? The nature of the divine is Sat, Chit, Ananda. He is always Sat, he is always that which is the truth. He is Chit, he is always aware, he is always conscious, he is always full of light. He is Ananda, he is always full of Ananda. So whatever you pour into him, he will always remain in his own nature. He is Swayambhu. His nature doesn't change. But he is capable of taking in your impurity and he will only give you back purity.
Ma'am, but that impurity will increase then.
It will increase in the universal, but the divine is more than the universal. He has become the universal. But the divine is beyond the universal. Na? He is not only limited to the universe, he became the universe. Right? An artist became a work of art, but the artist is beyond. He has become the art, but he is beyond that also. Right? He is infinite, he is eternal. He is more than the universal. These are all difficult things, but the seed has gone into you. You will not forget it. Yes?
Ma'am, as you gave example of that ink and ocean, ma'am, if we will continuously keep on putting the ink in the ocean will also get, ma'am, blue, purple. Ma'am, the ocean will also get impure. So, ma'am, like this, if we keep on, ma'am, like getting that sad from God, so, ma'am, can God also get impure?
But God has this is exactly what he said. That will God become impure, but God's intrinsic nature is complete purity, purity with a P. Absolute love, not love, but absolute love, love that cannot change. He is absolute Ananda, Ananda which cannot change. That is why we say that we are finite, but if we connect to the infinite and we pour our finiteness into him, our dukkha into him, our impurity into him, what comes back from him will always be sukha, will always be pure, always be Ananda. Because that is his intrinsic nature, it can't change. Yes?
Ma'am, like sometimes there are natural calamities and like stuff like famine and drought. Ma'am, people say that this is because the God is angry. Ma'am, is that true or like they say?
The divine is never angry. The divine never punishes.
He is incapable of being angry.
He is incapable because he is Ananda, he is love. An ordinary parent, an ordinary human being can punish, can be angry, but the divine is only love. Even when he gives us the most difficult circumstances, the most trying circumstances, he's still not punishing us. He's giving us an opportunity, drenched in his love, an opportunity to grow. We can either utilize that opportunity to grow, or we can misutilize that opportunity by sitting and cribbing. God is so mean. He doesn't care. He doesn't listen to me. What does he think? I've prayed to him always. हमने तो किसी का बुरा नहीं किया है. हमारे साथ ऐसा क्यों हुआ है? This is said by people who have not understood God's love. Those who have understood God's love will see his love in the worst of circumstances. Yes? Okay, should we go ahead? You wanted to say the mantra? Short mein, huh? You took it first, left, huh?
This is from the Chandogya Upanishad, the first half. It's called, it goes like this. Yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukham asti. So we'll just repeat it once, hoping that it will go inside you and maybe you can remember it later. Yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukham asti.
Nalpe sukham asti.
Once more. Yo vai bhuma
Yogai bhuma
tat sukham nalpe sukham asti.
Nalpe sukham asti. What does it mean? Where there is wideness, there is sukham. Sukha. When there is a good kha, there is sukh. Where there is narrowness, there is no happiness. There cannot be happiness where there is a bad kha. Bad kha where there is not wideness. When there is narrowness, sankirnta, मैं, मेरा, ये मेरे को belong करता है, ये हमारी family का है. What is this? There is one family. The divine has never said मेरी family, तेरी family. He says, what is that word? God's family? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Yeah. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, this whole universe of plants and animals and human beings, all are my family. Right? Should we go ahead now? Ma'am, I think we will let go of the icebreaker today because this is going very well and we've had an icebreaker
Very
today.
important also this.
This whole session on wisdom is important. Are you kids okay if we miss out? We get some time, we'll try and get 10-15 minutes. But we must understand what is wisdom. Right? So we have covered wideness. We have covered truth. Now, peace. We've been talking of peace so many times, right? And what did we say? If peace comes down into us, then knowledge, light, all of it will come to us, right? I'm trying to find the story I had, but there's no time to tell the stories now. Okay, all of it will come down if we are able to bring peace down. How important is peace? स्टोरी से अच्छा समझ आता है. ठीक है, पीस की स्टोरी मुझे याद है. दोनों स्टोरीज पीस की याद है. ठीक है. So peace is the first condition without which nothing can be stable. Sri Aurobindo. Ashantasya sukham kutah. For the unpeaceful, how can there be happiness? This is what Sri Krishna has said to Arjuna in the Gita. That person who is not peaceful, how can he feel happiness? Now let me give you one of the stories that I had for a peaceful mind. Yeah? Once there was a farmer and he had a barn. In the barn कितना सारा वो रहता है ना, hay, भूसे का जो barn होता है. So he was working in the barn and he lost his watch there. And he came out and he had all these little boys working for him in the farm. And he said, भाई जरा जाकर के मेरी घड़ी ढूंढना. Please look for my watch in the barn. And all these children went into the barn. And everybody is looking for it. And इतना भूसा था, कोई को भी नहीं मिली घड़ी. एक बच्चा बाहर शांति से बैठ के अपना काम कर रहा था. He was a very peaceful child. Peace had entered into his being. And he went and said to his master, the farmer, he said, may I go and look for the watch, please? And the master said, kuch bhi karo yaar, meri ghadi dhondo. So that boy was sent inside. He went into the barn, and in 1 second he came out with the watch. The farmer said, how did you do it? So many children went into the barn, और उनको तो घड़ी नहीं मिली, तुमको 1 second में घड़ी कैसे मिल गई? And you know what the boy said? He said, I went inside, and because he was a peaceful child, so he went in with his peace, and he said, I just sat quietly, and I could hear the tick, 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 and wherever the tick, tick, tick was coming from, I just picked it up and got it. I didn't have to do anything. So look at the importance of peace. है ना? एक peaceful mind में the light, didn't we say that yesterday? Just like the light of stars falls without any disturbance on a placid pool, and the light reflects. Similarly, in a peaceful mind, the light of the infinite will just fall and it will reflect out of us. Right? There's another beautiful story on peace. You want to hear the story? Yes, ma'am. All right. So there was this king, and he said that I want the artists of my kingdom to draw that perfect art on peace. So lots and lots of artists came up with lots and lots of artwork on peace. And out of all those artworks, 2 artworks were selected by the main minister. You know, one of the artworks was a very beautiful, very placid picture of the mountains and the river, and it was just beautiful, towering mountains, the lake was perfect, it was absolutely peaceful, the sky had no clouds, it was a picture of peace. The other picture that was chosen was a picture again of mountains only, but the mountains were not like that mountain with the perfect grass all over it. These were rugged mountains, and they were bare mountains. Above that there was an angry sky, very angry sky, and in that angry sky rain was falling down, and with the rain there was strokes of lightning also, and down the side of the mountain was a waterfall. The waterfall was looking as if it's really falling. You know, some artworks are so real. So the waterfall was also sounding so real. And just behind the waterfall, in that artwork, there was a nest. And in the nest, there was this little bird, mother bird. And where was that nest? In the crack of the rock of the mountain. यहाँ से खूब जोर का waterfall आ रहा है, यहाँ से rain आ रही है, यहाँ से lightning आ रही है, और यहाँ पे bird है, और bird अपनी mother bird is feeding that little bird. Which picture do you think won the prize? Second picture. Because peace, as I told you, does not mean negation of activity. It doesn't mean calm nahi hoega. Peace is when the highest activity comes out of peace. Why will we call for peace within us? Do we want to become rishis who are just sitting in meditation from morning to night? We want to become the best sportsmen. We want to become the best minds. We want to do the best governance in this country. We want to become the prime ministers and ministers of this country and take this country to the next level. We don't want to become sages who are just sitting and doing this. But we need peace. Because once peace comes down, the most unbelievable activity will come out of you. Such is the importance of peace. Yes, should we go? Yes?
There is an anecdote from Sri Aurobindo's life regarding peace. In Pondicherry, there are violent storms because the sea is just nearby.
This is so beautiful.
It was raining in torrents. I mean, the roofs were falling down in the houses, and it was just raining so badly you couldn't believe it. So everybody was closing their windows and everything. Mother, she knew that Sri Aurobindo was writing in his room, so she went there in a hurried way to see, just to close the windows. And you know what she sees? It's raining in torrents outside, and The peace in his room was so strong, not a single drop of water could enter the room.
Not even the doors, all the other doors and windows were doing cut, because cyclone tha, it was not a normal wind. But his doors, and they didn't have that lock.
He was just sitting quietly on his table and writing. That's it. Unmoved, unaffected, absolutely solid, concrete peace.
And there is another example of Buddha. Everybody must have heard that story. You've heard the story of the Buddha? The Buddha was walking down the road and a mad elephant was coming from the other side. And the villagers were running helter-skelter and they came to Buddha. They said, go away from here, the mad elephant is crushing people. But the Buddha went on forward. Why? Because he knew that the peace he was emitting would be able to even bring the elephant to peace. And that's exactly what happened. When he approached the elephant and from very far, the elephant became peaceful and he just sat down as if in prostration to the Buddha. Such is the strength of peace. All right? Should we move to the next? Difference, I've told you already the difference between silence and peace. Silence involves the negation of all activity. But peace is the fount of all activity. Peace is the source of all activity. Right? You're writing it down? Yeah, sure. So, should we move ahead? Everybody is written? Now again, Master Shifu has come to us from Kung Fu Panda. And what is he saying about peace? Anything is possible if you have inner peace. Once I realized the problem was not you, but within me, I found inner peace and was able to harness the flow of the universe. Just see how beautiful the words are. The universe at all times is wanting to give something to me. Give something to me. But why am I not able to receive from the universe? Why? Because I don't have peace. And I'm so busy. अरे उसके मारे ये हुआ, उसके मारे मैंने homework नहीं किया, उसके मारे मैंने ये नहीं किया. We are always blaming the other people. So we are not able to reach the inner peace. But what is Master Shifu saying? He's saying anything is possible if you have inner peace. है ना Ragini? Once I realized the problem was not you, but the problem was within me, then I started trying to change myself. Right? And when I started to change myself, I found inner peace because I had started following the Ritasya Pantha. Because I started following the right path, inner peace came into me. ठीक है ना? It's making sense, no? Should we go ahead? Are you writing? Now, this is something so important. What is the word written here? Does anybody know what is equanimity? Does anybody here know what is equanimity? 1 minute, I'm just trying to see my story. Yeah. Who knows equanimity? Mic DJ, please.
Thinking that everybody is equal.
Partially true, not fully. Yes, mic idhar DJ.
Equanimity is that you not telling anyone that you are inferior, I am superior.
No, not fully right. Yes, Sarthak?
Ma'am, everything is like equal.
Where is it equal?
Ma'am, like in the, ma'am, something like, ma'am, that this has more and this has less, ma'am, like in every way equal. Like the
But
God.
who is feeling the equal?
God.
God is always equal. Yes, पीछे दीजिए mic. Close, but not exactly. कोई ने अभी यहाँ equanimity नहीं सुना है word?
Where everything is equal, there is no like bhed-bhav.
Very good.
And all the people and everyone are equal there.
People will never be equal.
Okay. And then all souls are equal.
Souls are always equal. But where do we have to get equanimity? Yes, इधर दीजिए. इधर अनिल भैया.
Being equal in failure or success.
Very beautiful. What is your name?
Ma'am, Sanskar.
संस्कार ने कभी बस 2 ही 3 बातें बोली हैं. हर बार संस्कार के साथ बोली है. Very nice. So, equanimity के बारे में one of the most beautiful mantras which can become one of our mantras. It's a very important mantra of the Gita. हाँ? योगस्थः कुरु कर्माणि, बोलो योगस्थः
कुरु
कुरु कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा धनंजय.
संगम त्यक्त्वा धनंजय.
सिद्ध असिद्ध योग समो भूत्वा
सिद्ध्य सिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा
समत्वम योग उच्यते.
समत्वम योग उच्यते.
What is Sri Krishna telling Arjuna? Fixed in yoga, do thy actions. What is yoga? What is yoga? Remaining connected with God, whatever you may be doing. Whatever action you're doing, remain connected. Yeah, remember this. Lock your fingers. One finger is God, and one finger is my mind, my emotions, and my body. Yes, lock them together. Just lock them. Everybody lock your fingers together. ये तो बढ़िया है. अनमोल ने तो पूरे पांचों की पांचों, अनमोल ने सारी उंगलियां जोड़ दी, 2 उंगली ने. वेरी नाइस. क्या बोला अभी अनमोल जी ने? अनमोल जी ने बोला ये फेविकॉल का जोड़ है, टूटेगा नहीं. फेविक्विक है ना? तो जो ऐसे फिक्स्ड इन योगा, डू द एक्शंस. अगर आप योग के साथ में सब एक्शंस करेंगे, हैविंग अबैंडन्ड अटैचमेंट, हैविंग बिकम इक्वल इन फेलियर एंड सक्सेस. संस्कार ने यही बात बोली ना, चाहे हमारे जीवन में फेलियर आए, चाहे हमारे जीवन में सक्सेस आए, आई विल ऑलवेज रिमेन इक्वल. राइट? इक्वानिमिटी, समत्वम. For it is equality that is meant by yoga. योगा के श्री कृष्ण ने in the Gita बहुत सारे definitions दिए. One of the definitions of yoga that he gave is, write it down, samatvam yoga uchyate. योग का एक definition है समत्व. इसकी कहानी सुननी है किसी को? It's quite an interesting story. Okay. It's written Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. The last 3 words of the mantra, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. So what is Krishna saying? Yoga means, the highest yoga is when you have reached the equipoise. What is another word for Samatvam? Equipoise. कुछ लोग नहीं लिख रहे हैं. कुछ लोग नहीं लिख रहे हैं. थक गए हैं क्या? हाँ? कहानी सुनिए. This is the parable of the man who lived in complete equanimity and poise. So there was one very rich man who had lots of servants and cars and this and that, and he was always having wonderful food, wonderful bed. And right next to him lived a man who could barely get 2 chapatis. So while sometimes मिल जाता था, sometimes नहीं मिलता था, but he was a man, the poor man, he was a man who always lived in samatva, always equipoise, always complete equipoise. Now many days went by when he couldn't get any food. His master, not this master, some other master where he was working, was not giving him his salary. Now without salary, how will he eat food? So when many days passed, he was very hungry, and he had heard that this noble man, this rich man, had a good heart. So he thought, I'll go to him and I'll ask him, ki bhai kuch, give me something to eat because I'm really hungry. So he went to this rich man and he said, you know what, I really need some food, sir. Please can I have some food to eat? Now look at the beauty of this man. He didn't say, give me some money that I can put in the bank so I can keep getting food. He didn't. He just said, Abhi, I'm very hungry. Can I get some food to eat, please? Now this rich man had heard a lot of good stories about this man. He had heard he lives always in equipoise. He's always in samatva. So what he did, he said, yeah, no problem. Come inside. Let's go and sit on the dining table. So the poor man thought कि चलो एक बार का खाना मिल जाएगा, डाइनिंग टेबल पे सीधे जा रहे. Both sat down on the dining table. Then the rich man said, please get, he behaved as if there were lots of caretakers there. Said, please, you know what, get 2 big thalis of food with all the kinds of luxurious food for both of us. Now this poor man was looking कि यहाँ कोई है तो नहीं. वो बोल रहे हैं लाओ 2 थालियां भर के खाना. किसको बोल रहे हैं? मतलब this man was in equipoise. He thought ठीक है बोल रहे होंगे. He kept his equipoise. Then after 5 minutes the rich man said, हाँ, give 1 thali to him and give 1 thali to me. Poor man was wondering, कोई आया ही नहीं है, कोई थाली है नहीं, कोई food plate है नहीं. But he said, whatever the rich man is doing, I will do. So the rich man said, हाँ, एक यहाँ रख दो, एक वहाँ रख दो. And he started behaving as if the thali has come and he's turning it around. So the poor man also behaved as if he's turning it around. Then the rich man started eating out of the non-existent thali, like the emperor's new clothes. So he started eating. Wow, आज धनिये का चावल तो बहुत बढ़िया बना है. So the other one also said, yeah, आज the dhania chawal is yummy. Then the rich man said, he had another bite. The rajma is so even better than that. So the poor man also took a little spoon. Yes, the rajma to is even better than the dhaniye ka chawal. So the rich man said, roti kha ke dekhte hain. He said, हाँ, let's eat the roti now. So the rich man had. He said, roti थोड़ी मोटी नहीं बनी है क्या आज? So the poor man started eating. He said, हाँ, आज रोटी थोड़ी सी मोटी बनी है पर स्वाद बहुत है क्योंकि घी अच्छे से लगा है. So the rich man said, अच्छा ठीक है. And ऐसे करके वो he kept pretending and he also kept pretending. पेट में चूहे कूद रहे थे. 4 दिन से खाना नहीं खाया था. But the poor man was very much in the state of equanimity, state of complete poise, state of oneness. It didn't matter to him. And the rich man kept watching कि इसके अंदर कुछ हो क्यों नहीं रहा है, ये इरिटेट क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, भूखा आया है, 4 दिन से इसने खाना नहीं खाया है, मैं ये सब ड्रामेबाजी इसके साथ कर रहा हूँ, पर ये तो is just playing along. And then when he had tested him enough, I told you now, we are tested by whom? By people, not God. God always is omniscient, He knows. By those people who don't know. So they have to test us. God knows, God doesn't test us. When his test was over, he said, मैं मान गया जनाब आपको, मैं मान गया आधा वर्ष है, you are phenomenal. And then he did. And all the servants came. Said, अब लेके आओ 2 थाली भर के धनिया चावल, पतली रोटी, राजमा, पनीर, रायता, and बाद में उसके बाद अच्छे से big bowl of ice cream लाना. And that man, the poor man, did the poor man start dancing? Was the poor man laughing from ear to ear? Yay! He was still the same. उसको कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा था. फिर खाना आया, तो this man was like jumping, क्या खाना बना है, क्या खाना बना है. And this man was just eating with gratitude to God. This is called samatvam. And this is one of the highest yogas. Come on, yoga. Yes. This is one of the highest yogas Sri Krishna has said. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Okay? So one story is enough for samatva? We've understood? No. Sri Aurobindo has beautifully explained equanimity in 3 stages. What has he said? The 3 steps of equanimity are titiksha. What does titiksha mean? Does anybody know? Band kar do, isko dak do. What is titiksha? Endurance, to be able to endure the difficult times. This is the first step only. After endurance, he says, udasinata. What is udasinata? Sitting above the circumstance. When we are inside the circumstance, we are writhing. ये क्या हुआ, ऐसा क्यों हुआ मेरे साथ, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था, complain. But then we will not reach equanimity. What did he say? First endure, and then sit above the circumstance from outside, and then look at the circumstance, and then contemplate on why God may have given that circumstance. And once we look at it, we know that God has given us this difficult circumstance so that we can grow from it, so that we can use the difficulty to grow. And then he says, Nati, submit to the will of the divine. Right? What are the 3 steps? Titiksha, which means endurance. And then Udasinata, sit above the circumstance. You know, they say, don't be a fly in the ointment. What does that mean? When we are inside the ointment, how can we get out? जब उसके अंदर घुस गए circumstance के अंदर और उसी में अपने आप को feel कर रहे. But man has the exceptional capability to be in a difficult circumstance and at the same time to be able to rise above the circumstance and look at the circumstance from above. Udasinata. Uda means above, right? Ud asin, sit above. And then the third is Nati, submit to the will of God. Right? Then we will be able to reach equanimity. Right? I also remember another thing that Sri Aurobindo had said about equanimity. At least Kirit uncle used to tell us, and if Kirit uncle used to tell us, it must be words of Sri Aurobindo. He used to talk about the 3 E's. 3 E's. First E is endurance. Second E is equanimity. Very good. And the third E is ecstasy. So if you want to reach ecstasy, what are the first 2 steps to reach ecstasy? 3 E's. First E is? Very good. Second E is? Yes. And the third E is? It's more than a smile, huh? Right? So we've understood. What have we understood? The word equanimity. Right? Now we come to the simple word, knowledge. Knowledge is more than information. True knowledge is not attained by thinking. It is what you are and what you become. You had said that. Love of God, charity towards men is the first step towards wisdom. Okay? I think after reaching here, you all already know a lot. So there is a lot of value of knowledge. And I have another story which answers a little bit of the question of heaven and hell. Do you want to hear it? You had said, na, heaven and hell. Of course, it's not the pure answer. The pure answer will have to be given when we have time. Or if it doesn't happen this time, it will happen next time I come to Lucknow. If it doesn't happen this time. So, once there was a giant ship. Yeah? And the ship was not working. So, one person who was very famous for repairing of ship was invited. And he came. He looked, there are many engines in a ship. He just looked at them and he knew exactly what had to be done. And in 1 minute he turned it around and he made it well. Then he was asked, what are the charges? So, he said the charges are $100. Shipowner said, $100? Are you kidding me? You did it in 1 minute? Why? It was not even 100, it was $1,000. So, he said, why should you get $1,000 for just tapping that engine with a hammer? He said, very simple. $2 is for knowing what had to be done. No, sorry. $2 is for tapping it with a hammer, and 9,998 are knowing where to tap. So, knowledge is an important thing, and it has its worth in the world. So, we must not stop collecting knowledge. Information that's going to die tomorrow, do not waste your time on it. Rubbish things should not be discussed because they take away valuable time from the mind which can actually go into putting together knowledge. Okay? You knew this story. Very nice. Very nice. So, okay, no, I didn't tell you the heaven and hell story. I'll just tell you. This is the last story, and then we'll end so that there's still some time left for the icebreaker. Last story. I think we're done with this. Oh, patience. Okay. Can we leave the story of heaven and hell later? It's a very short story. So the next part of wisdom is patience. Patience is seeing the Creator in our wounds. Patience is seeing the Creator in our wounds. When we have a difficult time and then we are not able to see the Creator in our wounds, in our difficult times, then we are not being patient. But if you are patient, then for a minute we will close our eyes, udasinata, come above the incident, look at the incident from the top and say, what has the divine wanted me to do in this difficult time? And then the light of knowledge will come by itself if we have peace in the mind. When the peace is there and there is a true invocation of God, and patiently we are rising above the circumstance and then looking at it, then we will get from the divine what is it that the divine is willing for us, how to handle that circumstance, and that is patience, right? There was once a little boy and his teacher had given sunflower seeds to all the children that you plant it outside in your garden, in the school garden, and when the sunflower will grow, when the flower will dry, then you can eat the seeds of the sunflower plant. But this boy was very impatient. So he planted the seed, and after 10 days when he saw a little shoot coming, he came to the teacher, Jaldi, can I break it please, can I break it please, I'm dying to eat the sunflower seeds. Teacher said, where can you see the sunflower seeds? But ma'am, you said in the plant there are going to be sunflower seeds. Arey, but you have to wait patiently. Then again when it grew a little bit, ma'am, can I break it, can I break it? It must be inside the stalk. Arey, wait patiently. He was so impatient. Other children were just planting and waiting for it to grow. Everything has seasons, right, Ritu? And everything will grow in its own time. But this one boy was very impatient. When the flower started coming out, then he said, "Ab to sunflower seed ekdam taiyar ho, flower ke andar seed hota hai, tak se cut it." But there were no seeds. The seeds had not yet been prepared. And then he understood that I should have been patient. And then he had to wait patiently till the other friends' sunflowers grew and they dried and the seeds were prepared inside the sunflower. But the other friends were very nice to the impatient boy. What did they do? They shared their sunflower seeds with the other boys, with this impatient boy. So patience is a very important virtue of wisdom. Okay? And here we come to Kung Fu Panda. Your mind is like this water, my friends. When it gets agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you allow it to settle, the answer becomes clear. There is another example of the Buddha. Let me write it down for later. Yeah, so Buddha was once very thirsty. And he had reached a place and he told his disciples, you know, I'm really thirsty, can you get me some water? Now the disciples were all very excited, main dunga pani Buddha ko, main dunga pani Buddha ko. And they went to the nearby stream. Now in the nearby stream, just now an animal had gone through it. Just now an animal had gone through it. So the water had become disturbed. When the water becomes disturbed, the mud from the bottom comes on top. So the disciples came quickly to Buddha. But there's too much water in this river. Should we walk to the next river? Should we walk somewhere else? Buddha said, just be patient. Wait for some time. So the disciples went near the river and they waited for some time. And the mud settled down at the bottom. And they picked up the clean water from the top and gave it to the Buddha. So Buddha taught his disciples the quality of patience. Okay? We'll just go through all the qualities and we are done for wisdom. Wisdom is truth. Let's say it together. Wisdom is truth. Truth is that which is permanent. Wisdom is Wideness. Sukha, Dukha. If we just write these magic words, Sukha and Dukha, we will always remember what is wideness. Then wisdom is peace. When we are able to become really peaceful, when we bring peace down into us, wisdom will start shining out of us. Yes? Wisdom is equanimity. What are the 3 E's? Titik. Very nice. We want to repeat it again. Endurance leads to equanimity. And when we have reached the state of equanimity, we will reach ecstasy. And what are the 3 stages of reaching equanimity? Titiksha. Nati. Nati means submission to the will of God. All right? Wisdom is knowledge. And wisdom is very good. Now we can repeat the anthem of our summer camp. If you only do and the most important anthem of the camp, transcend thyself, thou art man, and the whole nature of man is to become more than himself. ये याद करके रख सकते हैं बच्चे लोग? Okay, thank you. The synthesis of yoga, the first chapter, the last paragraph. He has spoken on time. How should we deal with time? It's just a small paragraph. You want to write it down, then sometime you can look it up. Mona ma'am will help you take it out. Sri Aurobindo, his book is Synthesis of Yoga. Sri Aurobindo's book, The Synthesis of Yoga, the first chapter, the 4 aids, the last paragraph which is on time. Whenever you have time, you can go to the middle school library and ask Mona ma'am to help you pull out that book and see what Sri Aurobindo has to say on time. Now, today we discussed wisdom, right? Did you all enjoy it? Okay, what all do we remember about wisdom?
Ma'am, patience,
truth,
peace, and ma'am,
what was very important when we
equal knowledge, and
Sukha and Dukha, what did it come? What was it? Wideness, equanimity. The story of equanimity, you remember? The 3's, okay? Endurance. Yes, when we endure a problem, then we are able to reach equanimity. And when we reach that samatva, then we will finally reach the state of smile, ecstasy, right? We all want to be happy, na? Ecstasy, who wants to tell us the meaning of ecstasy?
I'm smiling. I'm
Ecstasy,
smiling.
smiling?
Yes, ma'am.
Very partially. Partially true, but good.
Excess of smiling.
Very nice. Very good. Let's just give the mic here.
Extremely happy.
Extremely happy. Okay. Yes, you want to give the mic there? Then we have to move to harmony. नहीं आ गया वहाँ से आ गया.
Ma'am, happiness.
Okay. So now that we are talking about pleasure and happiness, let's go into the stages. Okay. So the one level is pleasure. हमको आइसक्रीम चाहिए. हमको आइसक्रीम मिल गई. हमको क्या फील हुआ? प्लेजर. है ना? कितनी देर रहा वो प्लेजर? दोपहर में तो हम सब ने आइसक्रीम खाई थी ना. अभी उस आइसक्रीम का मजा आ रहा है क्या? फिनिश, गॉन. है ना? अच्छा, अब प्लेजर के ऊपर क्या होता होगा? शायद जॉय होता होगा. सो प्लेजर के ऊपर होता है जॉय. हमने एक बच्चे की हेल्प करी. हाँ, हमने अपने फ्रेंड के होमवर्क में उसको हेल्प किया. किसी को दुख हो रहा था, somebody was feeling unhappy, and I helped to add to his joy. So what did I feel when I helped someone? Joy. And you helped in the morning. Till tomorrow night when you thought about it, did you feel happy? So is joy different from pleasure? Okay. Yeah.
Pleasure means that pleasure, you get pleasure when you get something. But you feel joy when you give something to others, like some things or some emotions or help.
Yeah, or your time.
Yes.
Or your time. And time is so precious, it doesn't come back. And still you've given your time. Then that joy is longer lasting. Right? It's not pleasure. And then there is when you've experienced some progress in your whole being. You've heard something which you're applying in life and it's helping you to grow in your being. You realize कि पहले मुझे गुस्सा आता था, but अब गुस्सा आता ही नहीं है. इतनी बड़ी चीज हो गई और मेरे को गुस्सा ही नहीं आया. Then what do you feel? You feel something more than joy. Why? Because you've made some progress. है ना? A progress in your own being. You have made that progress by your own effort. It has nothing to do with the person from whom you heard it. It has nothing to do. It has to do with your own inner being. You have made that progress. You have made that effort. And you have grown with it. Isn't that joy even more long lasting? Now suppose we are concentrating on peace. We know that peace is God only. So we are actually trying to experience God flowing into us. And we actually experience as if God is actually flowing into our palms. As if that power is dancing in our hands. Or He is gently like a stream entering into our being. And we feel the light within our being. Or sometime we've experienced a real connection with God. You'll come to know when the real thing happens. So, what is that? That is Ananda. That is ecstasy. Okay? Understood the difference between pleasure, joy and ecstasy. Okay? Yes. इतने डिटेल में जाएंगे तो काफी टाइम लग जाए, but this ecstasy and bliss are same. So we all have understood wisdom nicely. है ना? Okay.